Okay, I guess I'm live. This is the first time I'm doing a stream, so hopefully everything is gonna work out here, but um have a look, everything looks okay. Because there's like some amount of delay, which I didn't really know too much about before, but that should be fine. Um Everything else is looking good. I'm not dropping any frames or anything. So I mean that's expected, but um yeah. So let me begin, I guess. Today I'm just going to do a little bit of programming. I was interested in maintain this text editor called Vis. It's like an open source editor. Um, we'll see if anyone's interested. Of course, they can look it up on GitHub or whatever. Um, and so I've been maintaining it for a little while, and been getting like pretty annoyed with some of the structure of the program. It's been like a little bit too difficult for some for new contributors, I guess, and you try to make like some changes, and sometimes requires like a lot more work than you need to, and that's sort of due to the structure of the program. So I thought I'd go in today and do just a little bit of cleanup and stuff like that, and see how that goes. Um, so to begin with, this is like kind of programmed in a style that is what I would call object-oriented C, which is I'm not the biggest fan of. Um, Basically, if we look at some of these headers, um, if this is the best one. So yeah, we have like these giant tables of like function pointers and stuff, which are not really ideal for most use cases, because they're slow and because they take up space. It's like unnecessary, especially when there's not really any need for this to be implemented like this. So there's only one implementation of all these functions. There's no reason for like a function pointer to exist. And even if there was multiple implementations, at runtime, you're only ever going to be using one set of these. So there's no like real point to storing a table of function pointers for the whole time of the program when that's already exists in like the program memory. Um, so to start with, this would be like the first place I'll start. But there's many structures like the UI. It's like an opaque structure, so it's not even visible there. Uh, it's better at typing. Yeah, so I think it's probably defined here because it's opaque. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna have to get a little used to this. I'm not used to streaming with giant or to programming with this giant font, but it seems like it's visible on like mobile devices. So there might be like some overflow. This gray column here is like the 80 column mark. I usually keep that up for my own purposes, but I'm not necessarily following that all the time. Um, yeah, like so there's like this struct UI term which has like some it's completely opaque to the rest of the program, which is like a little annoying as well. And then this one doesn't actually have any function pointers, but I believe this like UI struct, which I don't know where that I don't remember where that's defined right now, um, has a ton of pointers in it, and it's a little bit unnecessary. And also, even the opaqueness is like really not necessary either. So hopefully I'll clean those up. But to start with, I'm just going to start with this vis events structure, which is located in here. Um, yeah, so this vis event struct, most of these are, the reason I'm even thinking about it is because someone added this UI draw event recently, and they had to like add a sub somewhere because of the way this was implemented. And so I think we will clean that up. So to start with, we should go to the called I think it's emit event function or event emit. like that. Yeah, event. So the prototype is in this core.h. I don't really need to change the prototype, but we will change where it's implemented. And then the implementation here is in this.c. And I'm going to move that because I don't want it to be basically the way it's programmed right now is that there's two modes. So when your editor supports Lua, you can use all of these events, but if your editor doesn't support, if you compiled it to not support Lua, it just has like a bunch of stub implementations, which are also in this Lua file, which is also something that needs to get fixed. It's a little annoying. So where are those defined again? Lua draw, Lua event something. Lua event get, event call. Maybe the stubs are just in the header. Oh yeah, so the stubs are defined here in this header, which is a little annoying as well. Or I guess the stubs are not defined in this header. Oh, where are the stubs defined? Look. It's hard to see, so yeah, so they are defined in the C file, even though and they're also it also requires that the stub be named this because even though your editor doesn't support Lua because of the way this was sort of structured, you now have to name everything the same between the two implementations, which is a little silly. So we will start by changing that. And it looks like we might want to start with actually going to, well, there's multiple ways to do this. So I'm gonna start by going here now and just deleting this whole struct because we're not going to use these function pointers anymore. Now, one thing I noticed is there's like a little bit of a bug that I'll have to track down later, but basically, for some reason these events are getting called before the editor is ready to have events called, and it will say fault if I just completely delete this struct. So for now, I'm just going to put a placeholder member here, and we will delete it after. And if we go to main.c here, events, this event. So get rid of this whole thing. And we're just going to do this. Oops. And then, don't think I have to change anything else here for now, but going to this.c emit event, whatever you're naming. I'm not a big fan, but that's okay. So this function, I don't want this function here anymore. We're gonna move it to this.lua where the other things are just sort of implemented. And do this, and we're gonna go to 120, whatever, 120, wherever these events start. I think it's around here. So this function needs to get moved elsewhere because it doesn't really belong in the Lua. This function gets called no matter if you're using Lua or not. It doesn't really belong in this Lua file, so it needs to get moved. But here we go. So if Lua is not enabled, we have all these stubs, and I don't want to have any of these stubs anymore. So what we're going to do is I don't want to just delete all of these just yet, because I need to make sure these ones that return things are implemented properly. But what I can do to start with is probably scroll past this stack stuff. Yeah, actually, yeah, we'll put it right at the end. So all these functions are called right at the end of the file. So we'll move this whole function, this whole thing, right? So we're gonna move that whole thing up there. So fine. And we're gonna go through this function and just start deleting stuff. This is another annoying thing. For some reason, because theoretically the pointer in that event structure could be null, we're checking it every time, even though it has to be defined, and it was always being defined via that main file. It's a bit silly, so we actually don't need any of these tests anymore. We can just delete that, and we can just call the proper function, which was it's actually defined here, but it's Lua. Probably need to type more of it. This Lua and UI this Lua UI draw this. That it was actually the function that's just defined above where I just copy pasted. And we actually don't even want that function at all, because that function, oh, actually we do. So this function actually gets put into the Lua documentation. So we'll just keep it around for documentation purposes, but it can be static now, so it's not going to be exposed outside of this translation unit. So it will just get inlined probably by the compiler into this event emit function. But so that's all fine and good. Now, yeah, so now it's gonna be a bit annoying that I can't have I have to have the font like really large so it's visible. So I can't really have too many files open at the same time. Usually I have like around 3 or more in different windows, but this is just how it's gonna have to be. So next we'll move on to deleting some more random stuff. So this quit event, probably or let's just close this.c and open this lua.h, and we can see all these prototypes. So we don't need this prototype anymore. And then this term CSI. So oops, no, not term CSI, that's not what we're doing. Quit. Where is the quit one? Good question. So let's leave that. Let's do the term CSI first. The term CSI. This is the prototype. So we should just take the pointer to this, and it is going to take a constant arg point. This is a little ugly, but we're gonna copy this, paste it there. Okay. So we can do that pointer. We can go to this Lua term. Oops. This Lua term CSI function. It's static. I'll back down here. Okay, this is this other annoying thing is we have this stupid stuff like this. So if it's to event, well, maybe I should just leave that for now. Yeah, we handle stuff that like doesn't need to be handled all over the place, which is a little bit annoying. Okay, so these are called this Lua quit, this, even though they, yeah, they don't matter in the normal case. So, weird. I'm just gonna that stub as well. It, but okay. Yeah, so this is gonna be static. This should be here and width. So we're gonna delete this as well. This Lua width. And it just takes the this pointer, so it's gonna clean that up. And then we're gonna have this window one needs a little bit more work. We're gonna skip that one over, skip over that for just to start with. Now, so start again is just this Lua start, this, rid of this, prototype, Lua start should be deleted there, should be static, only visible to this translation unit. Okay. This one. I'm gonna fix this. I don't like how this is structured. Like, shouldn't have to check this every time we call this function. I'm gonna fix that after, but for now that's fine. So what do you mean by OOP abstractions? So yes, there's a lot of OOP abstractions. This is all written in C though. Looks like I'm gonna need to do some moderation. Of course, I'm not too little new here, so we'll have to see how I can just work on that. Weird. I should be able to. Not you, no, this other chatter. So yeah, so what did you mean by OOP abstractions? Yes, indeed. I just well, I think I can just do /ban in in what is the command? So you want to do this, and then you want to do this, and then you want to do that. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so there is like some OOP abstractions. However, the way it's first of all, it's not really necessary for these sort of functions because either you've compiled with Lua enabled and you handle this, or you've compiled without Lua enabled and you haven't handled these cases. If you've compiled it without Lua being enabled, then there's no reason to like have to call this function and do all these other like checking for null and calling everything and doing all this, because none of this actually applies unless the function um, unless you have Lua enabled. So all of these functions like this event file open, they only matter if you have the Lua version enabled. Otherwise, it just does nothing. Like all the stubs just do stuff like we can just look at one of the subs. So this Lua file open. I would say yes, I'm like most familiar with C. I've done like a lot of like embedded work and stuff. I've also done some. I'm getting more into like some graphics type work for school, but yeah. So behind me here, this is like a old oscilloscope I have for doing stuff. Um, yeah, it actually works. I just don't have anything. I don't know if I have any like circuits to demonstrate anything with right now. So yeah, we're doing file open was what I was talking about. So this can be static as well. So I don't need to check this pointer anymore because we're not going to call this. And we're going to go this Lua file open this file do that. And then so file open delete that as well. I can delete that. Delete that. That. Up here. So delete this prototype. Delete this prototype. What other prototypes here are not needed? So okay. Yeah. So those ones are all done. I guess we can do the window status stuff now. So this Lua win status. Oops. This win. And we're not going to check for this pointer to exist, function pointer to exist anymore, because it's not going to exist. This Lua win highlight this win. Do that. This Lua close this win. Here it is, function pointer checking. I might just replace this whole thing with another switch statement, but we will see. This Lua in open this win. And then okay, so that's that. Let's delete this Lua win prototypes. This Lua delete that, delete that, delete that. fix that one. Static, 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 static. Yeah, so next I should probably fix that status function. So I'll close this for now and go up to this window status. This function is just randomly defined here, even though it needs to get called even if Lua is not enabled. So I am going to probably move it to wherever this window status function is defined. That one looks like it's defined just in this .c. So the best place for this to go? Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. So let's take this to this dot c no status. Well, it doesn't. It calls another function pointer. So probably not here. We will put it in UI. Let's UI terminal. Oops. UI terminal. UI terminal dot UI. The file called UI terminal dot c. That's what I thought it was. Okay. Status is probably somewhere in here. Yeah, UI win status. So we will put this somewhere in here. Let me see here. So UI die, UI window resize. It doesn't need, it needs like a normal win, not like a UI win. Maybe it should go into view.c actually. Oops. Okay. View.c. Let's put it in here. After all these tables and other things. Window status update takes this and a window. It's not going to be static anymore. It doesn't need to be a static function. So this is going to get called in another file in a second as well. So let us add a prototype to view.a. H, which has a bunch of if-def stuff for some reason. And we can go into this core.h. Windows status update. Let's go up here. These other random window functions, we'll shove it here. So next we will do the window status update. This window status update. This thing is gonna call weird. Okay. Well, I need to add another file here, which we're gonna call event basic.c, which does the event handling in the case of no Lua. So we have to copy this whole function now. This function is only gonna get compiled. This lua.c is only compiled if Lua is enabled. I don't actually remember if the whole thing is just surrounded in if big Lua. I think it is. Yeah. So in this case, this is gonna include this core.h, and possibly that is it. Might need to include some other stuff, but so now in the case where Lua is not enabled, we don't need that. We're gonna call Lua stuff. Don't handle any of this. Sure, even handle this. I think possibly the only thing that does anything is, let's go to Lua win status. So Lua win status does something, but the rest of these look like they might not do anything. So yeah, I deleted them all, so they obviously didn't do anything. So we're gonna move this and go if this. We're gonna call window status update directly. And we can just delete everything else here. So that one is gonna be fine. We're not handling any of this, so really we're just gonna do this. Get rid of that. Now probably I already deleted those other functions, like yeah, the quit function. Hello there, chatter. I'm good. How about yourself? So Lua quit doesn't do anything if it's not handled, so just delete that. UI, there's no UI drawing handling. Term CSI. Does not do anything, so we complete handling that one. Lua file close, so again, this doesn't do anything, so we can delete this in the event basic case. File save post doesn't do anything either. Delete that in the basic case. File save pre here. File save pre just returns true. So we'll just assign true, I guess. And the rest of that can just get deleted. This check can get deleted. Yeah, today is the first time I'm streaming, that's correct. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Definitely I'm very new. I had to ban a bot earlier and I couldn't figure out how to do it, so process response. I guess first file open, so this loop. I'm gonna try to for sure, yeah. Mostly I'd probably be interested in doing programming streams, but I might do some gaming from time to time as well. Yeah, so like mostly I work on C code. Usually, sometimes I like to explore other languages, but it depends on what you mean by helping me. So I'll open. Must have already deleted the other stub. It's Lua file open. Yeah, I deleted the other stub, so that also doesn't do anything. So we just delete that. Do this. Do that either. I'm probably not interested in any help, just in any kind of help like that, just at the moment. So okay. We're just gonna return true anyways. I don't actually need to handle any of this at all. Yeah, thank you for the offer, but I'm not really interested right now. So yeah, that is not needed because it just breaks. This whole switch is not really needed. So if ID equals this, join that, delete break that. This is the only one that needs to get handled. Do need the VA list still because we have to get the window. And that looks fine to me. That's not going to exist anymore, so we're not even going to check that. So don't even really need to do this. It's going to return true directly. So probably includes standard arg, but maybe this.hre includes that. UI.h includes that. I think probably I just need to include it here as well. Space there for separation. That one should be fine now. To file. Let's look at these stubs again. Path add, path get. This is kind of different stuff. File save pre, don't need. Process response. Weird. It's not even getting handled. When does this get called, or where does this even get called? In the sub process. With sub process, I'll have to look at that after, but sub process. Yeah. Probably this should not just be getting called at all if it's not enabled, but that's fine. And these other ones have to be handled separately, so I'll do that after. So we can close event basic.cd, close that. Go back here to finishing these ones up. So this Lua file close, this file pointer close. We're not gonna, don't need to check this pointer anymore. Delete that. This file save post this file path. Delete that. Oops. Okay. Ret equals this Lua file save free this file path. Okay, delete that. This Lua file. Make sure these are all static because they are not getting called outside of here. Should open this Lua header and just delete all of those things. So these all need to get deleted. These need to be fixed as well after, but so that is all of those handled. That we're not checking anymore. Okay, so now we can see if this does a make. View.c, what did I do? I should have stashed some of my changes here before I started doing this. View.c. So all we did was add this function, but incomplete definition. How was that working before then? Why could also sprint and printf is in, I guess I should open this. I don't know, I'm looking that up. It's in standard IO. So view.c needs a standard IO to handle that. Why are these like so unsorted? So, yeah, so I can't see that. Why could Lua see that? What was Lua including differently? Because it includes this core and Vue doesn't include this core. Yeah. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of doing this, but we'll just do it anyways. Okay, so now we just need to handle the event, the mode replacement thing. So the this dot c 631 if event well, that will get deleted eventually, but that will also get replaced with, well, we don't even need to do this because we're not gonna use this event pointer for that anymore. Lua.h, so if this insert key is defined where let's call this this event this event mode insert input and this event mode replace input. Then we will so event basic.c is only going to get included if Lua's not being. Is Lua getting like included here? No. 631. So let me think here. Well, for now, what I can do is just rename these defines to this event mode and this event mode replace input insert input, and then let's do this, but mode insert. So we'll just rename these to event mode. It's really these just wrap that other function. So this lets you basically if you define like a custom keybind via Lua, and then you call that keybind, we first try to intercept it with this Lua input function. If it gets intercepted, then we don't call the normal version of that. If it doesn't get intercepted by this Lua input function, then we just use the same normal input. That is that. So now we can probably make oops, forgot to delete a check. 3633. Yep. Oops. That check. Okay, so that should now just run. So if we do this, no, it's gonna say fault. It's annoying. Let's do make debug. Also, it killed my cursor. So let's do a GDB this run. That's a bit annoying. Oh, right. So actually, I need to keep the silly check for this event until I fix that. Event. Okay, let's just keep this check in place up here for now. If this to event, if not this to event, return true. Okay, so that is fine. So now we need to figure that out. First, I'm gonna switch to a different branch called cleanup. Just gonna create a branch called cleanup. Cleanu. Let's not do that. Delete that after. Now, just gonna check what these things were. So, yeah, you can add that. That is my own stuff. So, DUI terminal DT100. My chain. UI.h was my change. Should stash those, but I'll do that after. So view.c, we just added this function. It could be called if Lua is not enabled, so we add that. Core.h added. Edit X, some of that stuff should be there. So just delete this other hunk. So delete that function, delete all that handling. That's good. Delete a bunch of prototypes that we didn't need. Looks about right. So this Lua process response, I'll change that after, but the rest of these we don't really need anymore. And then Lua.c. That should just be adding all of that and then turning these all to static functions. And renaming those functions. Now these should all just be my own things, which I will stash. Because they don't matter. Yes, I can't do that. That was dumb. That was this. Yeah, that was pointless. I shouldn't have done that ever. So I also need to add event basic to event basic. Should also get added to the make file. But only when Lua is not enabled. So that's a bit annoying. So how can we do this without? Also, event basic needs to have like a header that gets included via, or doesn't need a header. It's already in viscore. Well, for now, I can just do and basic.c. I can just do if not config Lua, even though this is ugly. Just do this for now. And then just always add it to the make file sources. May or may not be sorted. Be sorted? Not sure. No, they were not sorted. Well, I will just sort them. Git add event basic.c. You don't like serif fonts? Nope. But yeah, that was fine. Yeah, I don't know why I got onto using serif fonts in the terminal, but at some point I did, and I haven't switched since. So those two functions, no, the bits.h needs to get edited. So what I'm working on here is, so Vis, if you don't know what Vis is like an open source text editor that I'm one of the maintainers of. So actually, this is a very good overview of what I'm doing. So Vis has a lot of, I'd say Vis is programmed in like an object-oriented C, which is it's kind of weird and it's kind of annoying for a number of reasons. You see Vim without the M. So VIS is VI. It stands for VI plus SAM. So SAM's like an editor from Plan 9, which has some interesting things that you can do, like multi-cursors. So if I do like X file, I'll get like multi-cursors and it'll just highlight all of these. And then you can do like whatever editing with multi-cursors that you want to do. And there's like a ton of other stuff you can just do with SAM. But yeah, so that's what Vis is. And then basically right now what I'm trying to do is Vis has all these like weird function pointers. Like it had this whole structure of function pointers and I just want to delete it. Well, I mean, ed is like very basic, right? Like ed, I do know how to use ed, but for like very basic edits, it's not. I think you can do like some regex stuff in ed actually, but yeah, I don't think you'd want to do that. It's more easy to use you know, ed was fine when you had like a really slow terminal, 100, like not 100 years ago, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or whatever. But now we have monitors that can display stuff. So yeah, so basically that's kind of how this was implemented. And I'm not like a big fan of it because it makes it really hard to edit stuff, and you always have to check if these pointers are null, even though they always exist. So there is actually cases where you'd want to do this, where at runtime you might want to change one of these functions, but in this editor, there's no reason to change like why would you change what function performs the quit action at runtime? Like it doesn't make any sense, right? So I'm just doing like a bit of simplification. We're gonna like delete all those and we're gonna see how much how many lines of code just handling all of this sort of adds. So do you have you written like C++ or you don't write C++ either? Yeah, I can add that. What am I doing here? Okay, so yeah, I'm not too familiar with Rust. I'm not even sure like if Rust has like function pointers. I would assume so. Um, but basically, that is where C starts to get a little weird is when you start using function pointers everywhere. In my opinion, I guess. Um, so it's also like not really good for like the compiler either. So if you try to compile something with function pointers, it can never inline any of those functions because you could go and change. It doesn't actually know like where it's getting called from because it can be accessed through a pointer. Um, so it can lead to like some really slow, or not necessarily really slow, but it leads to like less optimal code. So add main here. So you can take function pointers now. Um, I know Rust is like more focused on the safety thing, so I assume there's probably some restrictions around what you can just do with the function pointers. If I had to guess. I think all of this Lua. And then yeah, so I would say like because C was sort of became like the standard systems programming language in the 70s. Nowadays everyone wants to there's so much like just software that was written in C and everyone wants to be able to interface it. So the C I guess like the C function API or whatever ABI has sort of become like a standard that everyone sort of programs against. But um, yeah, that is how you do it in C, right? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is true. So I have seen like there has been like some good criticisms I've seen by people who've implemented C foreign function interfaces for like different languages. Um, and yeah, they have said that like it does end up making if you want to use like C functions from your safe language, you end up doing a lot of things. You have to like work around a lot of the safety features of your language to do that. Uh, yeah, adding that. Rest of this is my function stuff, so I'll just commit this. Um, I'll write a better commit message after, but clean up this event interface. Oops. And then, so that would be that one. Now we need to make sure this still compiles without Lua enabled, so I'll just disable Lua. That looks fine if I just launch this without Lua. Okay, so everything still works here. Out the Lua stuff, so that's good. Now we'll go back to Lua mode. Yeah, so there is like many C libraries, and like for example, like OpenGL for instance is written in C. So if you ever want to do any programming with like OpenGL, your only option is to use the C interface. So obviously people have wrapped OpenGL in other languages, but if you look into how the wrapper was implemented, obviously it's just calling the C library interface. Um, yeah, so now I'd like to actually get rid of that event member. Let's just stash all this stuff because that is my own edits. Oops. So let's look into why this is crashing. In the end, LVMIR, so not much to. Oh yeah, so yeah, once the Rust compiler has done all of its whatever the Rust compiler does, obviously it produces LLVM intermediate representation, and then LLVM can go and do like all of its optimizations. So yeah, that is like a good thing. Um, but you have to deal with the Rust compiler, which is very slow, from what I have experienced of that. This so this Lua, let's see, I'm just gonna delete this check again. And then we will have to fix whatever this crash is that shows up when that happens. But that does mean that like you get a benefit from all the optimization work that's gone into like the LLVM, I guess whatever you want to call it, LLVM. I guess it is I don't know what you call that, but anyways, you get a benefit from all that optimization work, which is really great because yeah, the LLVM like the work that's gone into that is like just pretty insane. Um, so I'm going to do this in GDB. So I know this is just gonna crash immediately. So we're gonna go to the backtrace. Really what I want to see here is so file new. So that gets called before. Yeah, I'm using I use the KSH shell from OpenBSD. Um, it doesn't really matter that much, but yeah. So this file new internal. So that shouldn't be getting called, or it is getting called. So we have to see that's happening in this new. So v this new file new internal. This gets called before this gets initialized, which is a little weird. All right, for those files, but I don't think these files should be emitting an event for file open. No, I don't have a particular reason for using KSH. I just started using it. I think it's probably because I used to use OpenBSD, and then I just used the default shell there. That's also where I learned how to use like VI. It was on OpenBSD. And then it has like some nice configuration things, so it's really lightweight, but um, don't know if I liked it that particular for any reason, but um, so I'm actually not really using any of these here, but um, it has like some interesting programming capabilities if you want to have like auto completion and stuff. Um, you can just sort of like program it using, basic stuff like this. So if I do like if config, it like enumerates all of these based on like what I just programmed there. Yeah, so right now I'm using Gentoo for no particular reason. I've just been using it for like I've been running the same installation for like more than probably 10 years now. It's been quite a while, so Gentoo is like really Gentoo can be really stable if you know what you're doing, I guess. Definitely when I first installed it, it was like really hard to use. But yeah, like it works really well. Now this file, so oops, file, where is file internal implemented? File new internal. Um, DWM, so like Sutcliffe DWM, and then I just have like a local or like a personal fork I have. So it has like a few different features that are added, but that is actually just in here. So file new internal. That calls file new. So where's file new implemented? Also in here. Oh, so like the status bar, so this part and this part is both just normal DWM. I just changed the labels. Um, but like this status line over here, in the top right, is actually one of my own programs, called status. So let's just go on a little aside here. So I have this like status line program. Um, it's kind of like DW, it's like DS blocks or something. But basically, yeah, I can configure it like this, where it has like you can basically just like have like some blocks that get called. So in status.c, uh, where is like I haven't like I just used this. I haven't like programmed this actively in years, so I don't remember how any of this is just defined, to be honest. But right, so not that one. In the up status loop, there we go. That's what we want. So in the status loop, we just loop through the blocks, and then if the intervals run, we just do a yeah. So honestly, there's like not really any reason to change this at runtime. You can do like much more. Um, you have like much more control over it if you can just like configure it in the configuration file, right? Like that's like sort of the argument that Sutcliffe likes to make all the time. Um, so like if you don't have to support runtime configuration, you can do like some more fancy things. Um, I'm noticing like something. Well, I guess if I wanted to iterate it through like this, I have to do that. But obviously, it's like totally up to how you like to use it. But yeah, I kind of like the hard coded configuration. I like those FD files, but anyways, So this.c file new. It works if your target audience is other programmers, I would say. Um, if your target audience is not other programmers, then yeah, it's not really the best. Okay, so if name file new internal, but this gets called with null as the name. So file new. So we can skip over this block. Right. Name absolute. On earth is name absolute. So it's still just null. Hmm. Yeah, I don't really think there's any reason to have this event being called on internal files. So let me just place a mark here. .48. Yeah, so that's annoying. I want to go through and change all those signatures though. Um, don't think I can make this. Don't want this to take a parameter. Well, it could take a parameter, I guess. Um, so I've never actually bothered using an LSP. I've been thinking about trying it lately, but yeah, I just because like when I learned how to use VI, I just used like basic uh like old school VI that doesn't have like any plugins or anything. Um, I never learned with like an LSP, so I've never like actually used one. Someone has like written an LSP plugin for this, and I think it's like pretty good, but I haven't personally used it, so I don't really know. Um, well, like, I guess it could be easier. It can also just be like distracting, I guess, right? Because you're always like thinking about um what to type rather like so sorry, you're always like looking at like the what's it called, like the suggestions rather than actually just typing it. Even when it would be like faster just to type it. Yeah, that's true. I will like I have been thinking about trying one, but um yeah, it's not really like a priority for me right now. So um I guess I can just change everywhere where we call file new. It's a little annoying, but it is like it is only being called in this file. So um that's a bit annoying though. Oh yeah, like that's true. So for some reason I haven't actually set this up for C. I've set it up for like other languages. I have like a plugin for this editor that just runs the compiler on whatever file you're currently open or currently using. But um, I would just have it output the errors using that. But I haven't actually configured that for C for some reason. Uh, okay, so let's just make this take a bool for now called internal. And then we don't need to initialize that. So where are we here? File new, blah, 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 file new text, file name, file dot internal equals internal. If not internal, all that. Through that file out one, and then file new false. False. So mostly this is just how I configured it. So I find like most of the syntax highlighting to be like a little distracting. But I do like the syntax highlighting for like operators, basically. Only operators, I guess. File new internal, file new internal, file new, file new, file new text. I just make okay. So that seems to be fine. So now I do this.c. Yeah, there we go. So now we can just delete that this event thing altogether. Delete that. We're not going to be passing this anymore as a thing. This new. It's not take event anymore. Using the given user interface, not event handlers. So this new, gonna get rid of this. Oh, oh. So yeah. So the default theme for this, because people kept complaining that they didn't like that it changed their terminal colors. So the default theme just uses like the base 16 color scheme. So yeah, this is just like, the normal terminal colors. If I do like set theme, I think there's like a few different ones. I don't remember. Solarize, solar. I don't know how to spell that. Zenburn. So yeah, like Zenburn here. So we have like some other themes that are available as well, but comments and strings are the same color. I'm actually not sure if that is because the Lexer does that. That could be because the Lexer does that, to be honest. Functions, constant labels, strings, comments. Now strings and comments are like different. I think you can set. It's probably just how the default theme is configured. Oops. Did I fix that thing I just did? So this dot c 629. No event. And then also, is that this structure in this core.h? Yes. No, maybe. Yeah. Here. Right. This event pointer event. We can delete that anyways. Yes. So, okay, there you go. 641. Delete that. Don't need that. That should be fine. So normally I just prefer to use like the window manager for that kind of thing. Um, I'm just not doing that right now because I wanted to keep the chat up and without like shrinking it whenever I open a new window. Um, but yeah, normally I would just use the window manager for that purpose. Um, okay, so that is looking good there. That is deleted. That is deleted. I need to delete this type. Yeah, so we will just delete that. Oh, like using it for yeah. I don't really use like SSH that much, so I use it for like editing my website and stuff, but um so I mean like there could be some use for it there, but yeah, like otherwise I'm not really using SSH, so or sorry, yeah, I'm not really doing editing over SSH, I should say. Okay, so that's good. So it's let's see. There's like a new line there. This event pointer. Nope. Okay, that's good. Um, I'm not really sure if I was like so the XD thing, like as far as I'm aware, it was only really getting enabled on installations. I think in like didn't it check? I think it was checking if you were building for Fedora or building for Debian or something like that. Um, so since neither of those were applicable for me, probably I was not affected by that. My website, for instance, is running on OpenBSD, so um, with nothing installed besides Git and uh, Git basically. Everything else is in the base system. So yeah, like it wouldn't have affected my website either, for instance. OpenBSD is like it's a really good project. Um, there's like a few things that I have to do usually for work that are not going to be too easy to get running on OpenBSD. Otherwise, I'd probably be more likely to just stick around on OpenBSD. But um, for at least for my website and stuff, OpenBSD is like yeah, perfect. Very lightweight, and then it doesn't. You can basically set up the whole website without installing any packages. Um, all I have on there is Git, so that I can actually post stuff on there. Actually, it used to be, but now with what's it called, like Proton and Flatpak. If you just install like Steam through Flatpak and then just use like Proton for the Windows stuff, like everything works like really well. Um, yeah, like I'm not gaming like too often, but whenever I've tried like recently, it's all worked really well. So add a this core, this Lua, this .c, this h. We will amend um, moves the function pointer interface, which is adding needless complexity to adding new events, or to which was adding needless complexity and I haven't run into like too many, so maybe I'm just not the games I'm playing maybe are not like definitely I don't play like a lot of giant like big multiplayer shooter games or stuff like that. But um yeah, so for the games that I do play, I haven't really noticed any issues, but I'm sure there is. And making it difficult to add new events. Now, um, the Lua interface. Right now, new events only need to be added to the Lua interface if they are entirely meant for Lua. This will also have a minor reduction in runtime memory usage and produce a smaller binary. One thing, one actual, or sorry, the only difference that file open is not needed or internal files anymore. Good. So, okay. So that already deleted like 50 lines, 52 lines of code. Even though I've now got a double implementation with this event basic. Oops. And this I'll do it on C. So event init is now implemented in 2 places. So there's some duplicated code, but even with that duplicated code, there is 50 lines less code total, which is always nice. And there'll be even more deleted code with the next changes I plan on making. To make clean here and cp this b. And then we will switch to master. And do a make. Now we will do ll this and this b. Maybe just do ls dash l. So it's already 3,000 less bytes just from doing that, which is quite impressive. Because all we did was delete some function pointers and some checks for making sure the function pointer was valid. That's nice. I'll do some more of that cleanup, and we'll see like a much larger. I'm expecting to see a much larger shrinkage. Let's switch back to the cleanup branch. So that's a good place for me to pause for a second to go and use the washroom and take some stretch break. I will be right back. Okay, so before I continue, I should actually just install this updated version so that I am running those editors or those changes myself. Let's just pop my stashed things that I need. So we'll just do this quickly. And so, yeah. Pull that. Okay. Now we will stash those again so they're not in the way. So I think we start with now. How long have we been live? So yes, maybe I'll go for like another 15 minutes and then take like a longer break. So I know of a bunch of functions that are basically wrappers to return internal pointers. I'm not like the biggest fan of doing that because for like yeah, so basically we're adding like getters and setters to a C program, modify like some program internal state, um, which is kind of entirely pointless because um, first of all, like this vis pointer, it only one version of this vis pointer exists per program invocation. So you're never gonna have a second vis pointer. So there's like no reason to call like some sort of need to like use some sort of getter for accessing that because there's only like one way to access it anyways. Um, so also it just adds like you have like these useless functions that basically serve no purpose other than grabbing some internal state from the vis object. But like we could just access the vis object normally. Like there's no, I don't know. I don't really see the benefit of doing it. So we'll go and delete some of those now. Now I'll have to find them. But I think actually if I just go to vis.c, we'll see some of them here, like this. Yeah, like bool get vis get auto indent. Um, even vis window like I don't even know if this window is getting used anywhere. Um, this view actually does something. It actually checks if the window's present before it returns you the view. So that one might be useful. Same with this. Um, but there's definitely more of these like this where it's like completely useless function that all it does is return a pointer. Um, and the compiler can't like so sometimes the compiler can't really optimize this. The linker can sometimes, but relying on the linker optimizing stuff is kind of crappy. I'd rather if the compiler could just realize that it's like it doesn't need to make a function call just to do this, because then the compiler can handle it a little better. Um, so we'll start by just deleting these basically. Let's delete this one. And then I get auto indent. It's called get auto indent. It's only being called in one place as well, so that's really nice. Completely pointless to have such a function. Auto indent. This.h auto indent. Yeah, don't need that. Read that. Now this window. Let's just do this. That is gonna give me an error. This window thought that this should have worked, but this is gonna give me like a ton of crap that I don't care about. Yeah, it should be like, oops. You need to quote and escape it, right? Yeah, so again, in main.c is the only place where we're calling this, and we're just, it's dumb. So we are gonna do this. We're just gonna use Sam to replace all of these. So we're gonna go x this window, this. Don't think I need to escape these, so we can just check. Do we need to escape those? This window is okay, so those are all present, and we're just gonna delete those and go this to win. Yeah. Honestly, that's not even needed, but some of these, maybe I should just go around and see where this is even used because yeah, it's kind of pointless, but whatever. That's fine. So now we'll delete this function. This window. This window. There we go. Delete that one. So that still everything there still is okay. Oops, yes, add this.c, this.h, main.c. Hello, Arusius. How are you? Okay. Well, you know, gotta have some fun with the tags, right? So let's look at this.h and see if there's more functions I can just delete. So they're like weird. This mode get. That sounds like one of those functions that can probably get deleted. That's right. So I'm actually one of the maintainers for this. I'm actually the one who did the 0.9 release just recently. So I'm going through and I'm gonna do like I'm doing some cleanup, I guess. Let's open this modes.c5. This mode to ID. Is this mode opaque? No. So this is a different thing. This function is not useful. This mode get that is being called in this operators and main. Let me just open this operator.c, this mode get. This mode get this, oops, change that to this to mode to ID. Now let's see if this still builds. Yep, that's good. And let's do this. Make sure I haven't done any weird. Place mode, visual mode. Yeah. So it's no problems there. So add that and add this.h and git add this operators.c. Is anything else? No. That. So let's go back into this.h and see what else we can just delete. What other useless get functions are there? Some of these are more complicated. Yeah, so this window width and stuff, that needs to be maybe this count, yeah. Where is that implemented? This count get is implemented. Where? Where is this count implemented? Oh, in this.c, okay. Yeah. So again, another one of these completely useless functions. Huh? Yeah, so this is kind of written in what I call object-oriented C, where there's like all these, there's a lot of these functions that are just not really yeah, they're not really good. So I am going to go ahead and delete those and do another search for this count get, and it needs to just be that. So let's do this. Okay, I have to fix that. This count get. It looks like it's mostly in main.c, but we will add view.c and blue.c. This count get. Actually, I can do something fun here. Let's open up main while we're at it. So one of the features of SAM is that you can run SAM commands over all open files. So capital X matches files. We'll match all the open files here. Oops. All the open files, and then we will do X this count get this, and then we will do C this action dot count, and this is going to replace all instances of this count get this with in all the files that are currently open with this action count in one quick line, unless I typo the regular expression, which is always likely to happen. Oops. Which regular expression is it complaining about? I think it's actually this. I don't think I need to do that. Oh, no, you know what? It's this trailing. I thought this worked, unless I broke something. Definitely did this a little while ago, so I'm not sure why it's not working, but now I've lost that for some reason. Well, I was pretty sure that spaces were ignored, but so this count get this and the this to action dot. Oh, you know what? It was the dot in the action. Or not. Which, huh. Not actually sure why this isn't working. Let me just check without the capital X. Yeah, so that like works. Maybe I'm forgetting how you match files, but I was pretty sure I just did that earlier, so we will just use this for now. Yeah, you're right. I should open actual SAM and remind myself how to how to do that. Anyways, I still don't have to. It's still a little faster than going through and manually typing all that, so that's fine. And that all just works correctly. Yeah, it all looks correct to me. And I doubt this is yeah, I'm not noticing any like issues with that, so that's good. We can go and add those now as well to these random view.c this lua.c this.c. I'll just remove dot b there. That. So this dot not that. Well, I can look here if there's like more single line get functions. But I have to go through like all these checking Wait, why does this work here? Wait, if this works here, then it should have worked where it's just being used. In Lua.c. Huh. That was necessary because it was supposed to be opaque, but if it is not opaque, then um yeah, weird. You just see if that compiles. Sure. Weird. So what was that function called? I'm gonna delete that as well, actually. We're gonna delete that and Lua the width one as well. This window width get. Gonna replace that with wing to UI to window width. Oh, U.C has some weird all of that as well. 137. Oh, weird. Wing to UI to window width get to UI. Okay. Yeah, so that is fine. Yeah, so we don't need those functions either. Good. Cool. Let's go to this.h. Get. Like this can just be a. This can seriously just be a macro. I don't know why it's a function. This egg, this count get alt. Yeah, so uh I really want to just circumvent the type system, but yeah, here we go. So this count default, and it's gonna take count and the default, and then count in case someone does something stupid equals count unknown default or count. No, semicolon. And I don't need this extra thing there. Oops, it's a space. So for main.c, we will do x, this count, get default, this, and we will do change to this count default, this to action dot count. Yep, that's correct. And then in this motions again. Let's close this window, close this window, open this motions. And we will do this same thing as that one. And then I think it's also being used in here. So we'll do that again in this.c. And then do this, delete this. Okay, so that's good. That's no longer I should test this one because this could break stuff, but yeah, it's not gonna break stuff, so cool. So let's see here. Yeah, let's solve that. this motions, this dot h. So let's do git diff stat master diff dash stat. Okay, so we're getting close to we got 90 lines deleted so far today, which is already pretty good. Let's check the binary size difference. So CP this dot be this to this dot b for now, and then we'll switch to master and do a clean build. Oh, I need to commit this, right? I'll name this better after git commit. Clean up single line getter functions. Let's do this, and then we will do ls.l this.b. Okay, so we've got rid of 4K now, 4K of binary. This is already kind of big. I'd like for this to be smaller. Now a lot of this is because of the giant object-oriented interface. So the next thing to just delete would be win in view.h. There's a ton of function pointers. Where's the window defined? Ag struct win. This core.h. That's mode. Well, that's another place. So struct win. Yeah, struct win has a ton of stuff in it. Actually, struct win doesn't have any function pointers. It's just the UI struct. So ag struct UI it's called, which is defined in UI.h. Yeah, so the struct UI has a ton of function pointers that all should be removed as well. So that'll be the next, possibly the next step. Also UI win. Yeah, I'd like to delete all this as well. Actually, that's a surprise. This struct UI doesn't actually have anything besides function pointers, which is, again, this is very much a C++ kind of thing. This isn't really something you do in C. So, well, you see, the reason is because the reason you want to use function pointers is because, theoretically you could have a different implementation of the UI and you could switch the UI at runtime. And if you have these all as function pointers, you can do that really easily. But in reality, we only have one implementation of UI. How many of those instantiations? Are there many different instantiations? Well, no, there's probably only one, but that's not really the problem. So the problem is that when you do it like this, the compiler can't actually optimize any of these any of the places that call these functions. So if these were actual functions instead of function pointers, the compiler might decide to inline some of these and get rid of a lot of extra just stuff saving the stack pointer, restoring the stack pointer, ton of intermediate values that maybe you have some intermediate values that are getting returned from these functions. you wouldn't need to save those intermediate values if the compiler could just inline the whole function. So that's like probably the main problem with just doing this in C. Also, it's just kind of ugly. Like, I don't know about this case, but the win event, which I deleted at the start of the stream, every time we were calling one of the functions in the this events, there was a check to make sure that the function pointer wasn't null before checking it, which, like, again, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the function has to exist for the editor to run, so it can't be null. If it was null, the editor would just not even be running. So like that's kind of like the problem with using function pointers, right? Like if you have a function pointer, then what if someone sets that function pointer to null at runtime? Well, we have to check for that. It like doesn't make sense to do that, right? So that would be like the next thing that probably we want to delete or work on deleting. UI. This where is the UI? So yeah, where was this tag struct? That's what I want. Struct win. So that has a UI pointer. It has a pointer to that struct of function pointers. So if we go to this core.h, and we look for the UI pointer, well, this also has a UI pointer. Oh yeah, this is this ugly thing. Well, we can start by just doing that and seeing. I think I'm on the wrong. Yeah, let's switch back to the cleanup branch. So if I just delete that member, and then we will see a bunch of errors everywhere. Immediately we'll have to do that. Okay. Think. Well, no, I think that's just because it's just the make file is just like stopping before because this is like the first file it tries to compile and it's giving an error, so it'll show up in a bunch of other files as well, I'm sure. But I think for now, I've been streaming for like 2.5 hours, so I think I'm gonna take a little break for now, and probably stop, and I might come back a little bit later this afternoon and work on this. So yeah, like definitely if you're interested, I'd be really happy if you followed and you came back later. Otherwise, thanks for staying, or thanks for watching, I guess. Yeah, cool. I think for a first stream, this went like fairly well. Yeah, awesome. Thanks everyone. See you later.